welcome to this podcast. In this podcast, we will externally go into depth of spirituality with my spiritual mentor, Gopavrinda Prabhu. And I think so, many people thought spirituality is not kind of thing, but in this podcast, we go in depth of the Vedic literature, the history, Asian history, and how British rule us and change our mindset, specifically our mindset. So watch this podcast. I hope so you get so much insightful in this podcast. Stay. Hey folks, and Hare Krishna to all. This one of my favorite podcasts going to be, and this podcast totally depends on very off topic, you can say, because I'm posting more on technical side. But this time we are talking about the spirituality, and I came to this topic about around like very mental health issues going on. And with me today, I have my spiritual mentor, I can say, H.G. Gopavrinda Prabhu. Like I already award him as a Prabhu. So. Prabhu, if you want, like I am very bad at the introduction, but if you can give your introduction from your side, but as a totally from my end, I can. He's my spiritual mentor and always been a spiritual mentor who guided me from my first year where I am just scrambled kind of thing. I didn't
know. My name is Gopavrinda, as you have said.
Go on.
Basically, I did my mechanical engineering from Mangalore University, Karnataka. Then I was working for a company in Bangalore for around 13 years. Then meanwhile, I came in contact with the teachings of the Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, one of the renowned sannyasi of India. He traveled all over the world and established the very well-known organization called International Society for Krishna Conscious, ISKCON. So influenced by his teachings, and finally I decided myself to dedicate in the service of the humanity, as well as take the shelter of the Supreme Lord Krishna as a spiritual practice, the part of my life.
Yeah. So thank you, Prabhu, for your lovely introduction. Like I can say that I really learned from you from everything. It's not totally related to spirituality, but every end and how I can propose that. So let's you can say deep dive into the main podcast that we are here. So people say that what is the meaning of spirituality according to you? Like if you allocate to the people or the student who are watching us, like why spirituality, what is spirituality and why it is needed right now?
Yes, the spirituality is, when we use spirituality, the spirit is the main subject matter of discussion. So there is two kind of spirit. A tiny spirit we call the Atma of the individual, and also there is supreme spirit is the God, the Supreme Lord, the God or Krishna, whatever you call. So spirituality is should be a part of the life. As you go through the ancient Vedic scriptures of Indian, there is a lot of inputs from those Vedic literature. Generally, if you see the common human being is busy with the materialistic activities, and one day the life will end up. And Vedic literature talks about the eternality of life. So the human life is particularly meant for to understand the higher purpose of human life than simply living like, otherwise if the common man, any human being, there is a four activities common we see: eating, sleeping, and mating and defending. That's so the scripture point out like this: ahara, nidra, bhaya, maiturancha, samanya, vedat, pashupi, narana. These are main four activity. Each and every person, any activities, maybe someone is a doctor, someone is an engineer, someone maybe a CEO of a company, or maybe a politician. Ultimately, there are four main activities everyone is doing, and any activities again focused on these four activities: eating, sleeping, and mating and defending. Vedic literature say that these common four activities even is done in animal life. Animals also doing. So animals, because the fact is that these are four activities required for survival. And speciality in human being, the Vedic literature says like this: dharmaste vishesho adhiko vishesha. The human is something is very special compared to the animal.
Mm.
What is the speciality we see? The animals also inquire about something, but their inquiries are limited to the four basic things what we have discussed now: eating, sleeping, and mating. The animals inquire where is the food. Animals inquire where is my shelter. Animals also inquire how to protect myself. And animals also inquire about the sex mate for the reproduction purpose. And as a human being, we also do that. Maybe we may be doing it in the very polished way. Otherwise, basically, we see not makes any difference. And what is the benefit derived from these activities also same. So then we think, but human is something is very special. You have mentioned. What is the speciality we see? Human able to questioning ability. Those is called jijnasa as a Sanskrit. Jijnasa, I mean, we able to inquire about something which is not actually the necessity or which is not for the survival. Like we all question like, okay, once upon a time I was not there in this world, from where I came from. One day I have to leave this world, I mean I'll die. Is there any life after the death? And is this universe, is there, how this universe came into existence? Is there any creator? Or it is something random? And the many other questions like, okay, in everyone's life there is a suffering. We ask a question, why there is a suffering? Why can't I am free from the suffering? And no one want to die. So there is also a question, why can't I live forever? Right? But the fact, no one want to die, but death is a certain for everyone. So one should ask question, why can't I live forever? Why there is a disease in my life? So these are the kind of questions only human able to ask, anyone can't. And if you see, inquire about, if you think about this particular question, ability of human being, it is nothing connected to the survival. For example, okay, is there any life after the death? Is there any God? Is there anyone controlling this universe? If someone is not asked this question, still his survival is very much possible. So that's the reason the question comes: why this something is very special, inquiring ability only present in human being? So Vedic literature answers like this: Atato Brahma Jijnasa. Atato Brahma Jijnasa means human have the higher purpose than simply for basic activities. What is that higher purpose? Brahma Jijnasa. Brahma means what is the truth? Satya. So get the answer to the absolute truth. So everyone, if you see everyone's life, we all do lot many search activities. Even scientists are doing searching, and every individual doing many inquiries are happening. And what is the purpose of this searching? So one of the Vedic literature, Bhagavad Purana, says the answer to this question. This is the conversation between the Lord Krishna and Lord Brahmadeva. So Lord Krishna is telling Brahma, so everyone is searching for something, and all this search ultimately, directly or indirectly, the search is the purpose or the goal of the search is me only. And once they understood me, and that is the end of all the search.
Like
very
like you're talking about search.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, like you're talking about so much, like as like from birth to, you can say that we are totally what searching. So like many people say that like Bhagavad Gita is solution for everything. If you are finding if you're feeling any problem in your life, but you just read Bhagavad Gita, for instance, then you get your solution. Like what is in this book? Like why people have to read that book to like solve? You can say if I am in a problem, but if someone say like you just read the Bhagavad Gita, it's not like a kind of spiritual thing or like a religious thing. The book is really religious, but what the point of you can say spirituality, or you can say spiritual mind. Like after reading that, like people say no, I get the solution. I recovered from the problem, you can say. So what's your thought on that? And why the like kind of students are thinking like we follow science and technology kind of stuff, and this spirituality doesn't mean at all. So like what's your thought on that part too?
Here Bhagavad Gita is the topmost book of spirituality. And spirituality is a solution to everything, actually. If you properly understand what the actual spirituality is. So the Bhagavad Gita particularly speaks about the spiritual subject matter. So in that sense, the Bhagavad Gita gives the answer to every question. It also gives a solution to every problem of the human life. So this is the how, because the main problem with the human being is we all very much dissatisfied. Anyone, you see, everyone want a lot of ambition. Even after fulfilling their ambition, people are not satisfied. It's a fact. So the Vedic literature talks like this. Okay, the main, we all looking for ultimately in our life. Okay, I want to be content in my life. I want to be peaceful, and I want to be free from all the anxieties. So in Bhagavad Gita, what the conclusion made by the Arjuna is, so Arjuna came up with a perplexion in his life. Okay, when he want to fight his own against his own relatives and friends, and it is a very dvandva. I mean, how to decide? Okay, now my own reference are relatives are then friends. How I should fight? So he was in a confusion. So that what Arjuna is and Krishna is giving the answer to that. This was a conversation in the Bhagavad Gita. The how Krishna is satisfied Arjuna by the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. So similarly, we all in our own life, we also face similar kind of problems, anxieties, confusion in our life. So how Arjuna is facing the confusion? When the Arjuna gives a very perfect solution to the Arjuna. So what Arjuna concluded at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, I am free from all the doubts. Mukta samshayaha. Samshaya means I am free from all the doubts. So that means Krishna able to convince completely Arjuna whatever doubt he's having, and is freed from all the doubts. So if you see, the Bhagavad Gita subjects are like this. We are in confusion because what is the real purpose of our life is not clear. Anyone you see, if you ask a question to anyone, what is the purpose of human life? The people are not a very clear answer to this question. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna starts like this. Okay, the Arjuna is worrying. So Krishna says, for what you are worrying, actually a learned man don't worry. Then what is the meaning of learned man? You don't worry for what you are worrying for. Because Krishna is talking about, again, come to the point of, okay, eternity of life. Now Arjuna is saying, okay, these people are going to die. And Arjuna is telling, Krishna is telling, no, these people are not going to die. Actually, they're changing the body. So similarly, we should also understand that, okay, there may be a problem in our life. Everyone will come across a variety of problems in our types of problems. Every person has different kinds of problems. So Bhagavad Gita gives the answer to each and every problems what you face in our life. So if anyone read the Bhagavad Gita, he come to the platform of, because I'll come to the very his life is a simplest form of life. I mean, generally, what is actually the problem is we making our life is more complicated instead of we are making it simple.
Yeah.
If you philosophically see in the point of Bhagavad Gita, life is actually very simple. Because of the many influence, because of many things, maybe the media, because of the comparison, because of the competition, because of all these reasons, we make our life is more complicated, and that complication create a number of problems actually. So Bhagavad Gita teaches a life. You live a simple life, more higher focus life, higher purpose. It is focused on higher purpose of the life. So that all these simple. So what Krishna says, because these are the problems that comes and goes. What do you say? Sampraja these are the problems actually because of the sense perception. In reality, these problems are not there. What Krishna says, and how to understand this? For example, though we say where is there no? Generally we think where is there no problem? There is a problem in reality, and Krishna is telling actually there is no problem. This is a problem created in the mind actually. So there is a Acharya give the example, like for example, cold water, normal water, in the mid of the winter, we no one like to take in normal cold water, normal water. It is very chilly. The same water, same normal water, in the summer, it is very much pleasant. The water is the same. It gives a different perception in winter and same perception in different perception in the summer. Similarly, the pains in the life comes and goes. And it is how we should learn how to deal with the problems. And Bhagavad Gita teaches all these techniques. How a person can deal the problems in proper frame of mindset.
Ji, Prabhu.
And in reality, the problem is not exist. Why I am telling problem is not exist? It's everyone need is some of the basic things. That basic things are not at all difficult. Krishna says, these basic things are available for everyone. Now, then where is the problem then? The problem because the greedy of the person, okay, I want the n number of desires. So Krishna says like kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna, because of the desire only, which makes the life is more complicated. So Krishna is in the solution. Okay, how can a person will do every activities without? We also without desire. How can I do the activities? And Krishna gives the guidance. How can one can do everything without expectation? That what the shloka says. Okay, karmane vadikaraste. It's a famous shloka. Karmane vadikaraste ma pareshvatashana. You do your duty without expectation. Because when you expect something, then that expectation is not fulfilled, then it brings a sorrow in life and becoming sad.
Yep.
So it is important to learn how to do everything with a detached mindset. And it's a great science to understand. And Bhagavad Gita teaches all these things. One understand this technique in the mid of all the problems is unaffected. Very much possible. Today, the people they come across so many problems, then mind is not working. Okay, now I'm blank. Okay, what to do, what not to. Same case, the Arjuna thinking, okay, what I should do now? And similar kind of situation in our life, many times we are facing. And Bhagavad Gita gives the solution to all these problems.
Prabhu,
because
like
actually, one of the Acharya, great Acharya, Madhvacharya speaks like this.
Like Prabhu, I have like
actually there is no problem.
Yeah. So like I have a very generic question kind of thing. Like many students, like I have read the preface of the, you can say, Bhagavad Gita, and here is written that Krishna is not a god. He's like a reference, you can say, because like we as a religion, like I am a Hindu and I believe as a god. Like what do you think? Krishna is a reference, you can say, where reference point where all the human beings around, or you can say he's a god. Or if he's a reference, what do you think what Ramji is? Because we think as a history of part, like Ramji is so much idealistic that this person cannot be live at all in today's, you can say, today's arena, because there's so much kind of that. So like we know we praises Ramji also, we praises Krishna ji also, but in the quantity, or you can say quantity type, we praises Krishna a lot, even though Ramji is so idealistic.
Yes.
So what your thoughts on like why Ramji, like even though Ramji is so idealistic, but we praise more Krishna. So yeah, what's your thought on this?
Yeah. So here, if you see the so many different religions talks about the different faith. Again, if we conclude, actually, it is simply the names are differing. If you say in there is the sun, in India we call it a Surya.
Yeah.
And same Surya will call in some other country, they call it as sun or some other name. But the same sun called in different names. Similarly, God is the one that God is called in different names. The one of the things to understand here. And when we talk about the Rama and Krishna, so when we go deep in the study of the Vedic wisdom, the Krishna and Rama is not different actually. So we all understand the concept of reincarnation or incarnation, sorry, not reincarnation, avatar we call. The Lord is omnipotent and he is unlimited. As such, unlimited person can expand a number of personalities. So Krishna is the origin of everything. So that was the Vedic literature says. Ramadi Murtis Kalaniyamaina Tishtan Nanavatara Krishnastu Swayam. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the Supreme Lord himself. Even though there are Ramadi, Rama means Rama and many other incarnations are there, avatar are there, but Krishna is the origin of all this. This is what Vedic literature says. And okay, now in a spiritual point we see when Rama or Krishna is incarnated as Rama, and Rama and Krishna are not different personality, the same personality, the same potent. But Krishna is the origin.
Okay, got it. Prabhu, like you are talk about literatures, Vedic literature specifically. We know, I can say that like Britishers like ruined our education system. Like we have a great education system and they broke down in their Macaulacan form of education. What do you think is point of the universe? I am concerned space, and that we are talking about
some sad story. And you want to build some morality.
Vedic literature can come back to India in form of like in education and how it can bring the changes. Like
all this kind of moral we may impose or even
according to you,
people.
how Vedic
But reality don't work for long.
System in terms of our mindset.
Today, okay, I'll teach reality about okay, you should be truthful,
what are your views on
you should be honest. All these moral principles I speak. Now you see, the one of them to my own personal things, okay? Okay, I want by doing some dishonest, okay, I'll getting something profit. I never mind. Generally, the people never mind to do the wrong thing. So the fact is, why even Arjuna asked this question: why the people do wrong things? He knows that is wrong. In fact, we see in our own face. Okay, we know that many things we do wrong. Still, we do the wrong. Why? The Arjuna asks this question. Krishna answers: Kama esha bodha esha rajoguna. Means the force of desire, kama, meaning the desire of enjoyment, which makes you do wrong things. And very logically it is. So when something enjoyable comes, okay, okay, let me do what is there. Ultimately, I want to enjoy. Even if I do the dishonest, what is the problem? Let me do the dishonest. I want to enjoy. Now, what the ultimately understand from the Vedic literature, it is not simply a moral education. Vedic literature, so there is a, again I am telling, there is a higher purpose. Because Vedic literature talks about the eternality of life. Now, though in ancient culture, if you see, the whole Indian the living style is based on the Vedic literature. And we hear that in history also, the people are so truthful, no stealing, no law breaking, and no lot of dishonesty was happening, no injustice was happening. Because why? The living style in Vedic culture was totally based on the Vedic literature. They were clear. So this was pointed out by the Macaulay, Lord Macaulay himself. Macaulay, when Lord Macaulay came to India to study India, so because India, the Britishers came to India to control over, the rule over the India. So when Macaulay came and did a survey of India, he traveled all over the India from south to north and east to west. And afterwards, he submitted a report to the Victoria in Britain. And Macaulay said, like, okay, I traveled all over India, but I am not able to find a single beggar in all of India. And Indians are so satisfied, and we are not able to rule India. Because why we are not able to rule India? The Indians' living style is properly fixed on the Vedic principles. So we not able to, because the Vedic principles bring such a level of satisfaction. The people of India are very much satisfied. That's the reason. Whatever, so when only the people change, when something is more pleasurable get, then people will be attracted. Then nothing be able to present for them which is more pleasurable than what they really experience in India. So we're not able to rule it. Then what is the next option? So Macaulay say like this, okay? Even if at all we want to rule India, we should break the Indian Vedic style of way of living. And they very systematically designed their education system in India and established the British education system, how to break the Indian Vedic culture. And that's what the name came today. We also call in this same name, okay? Indian ancient mythology.
Yeah.
We don't call it a science. But this is the when he says the Purana. When Purana means ancient Indian history, it is. Purana means a history. It's not something is mythology. So Britishers gave this name, okay, mythology. That's the way they brainwashed the Indians, and totally the Indians have lost our Vedic faith and started following the Western culture, and it's created a variety of chaotic kind of problems. Even today, if you see, and we're not able to come out of this problem unless we go back Vedic understanding. And I'm not telling that, okay, Vedic understanding is they are the blocking stones for the advancement. Never. Vedic principle not says you don't advance. Vedic literature allows the advancement. Ultimately, okay, even after advancement, what do you want? Even after advance, I want the peace.
Yeah, true.
I want the content way of living. Even okay, even after advancing so much, okay, you're not peaceful. You're always anxiety. Then what is the purpose of such kind of advancement? Again, it is my question.
Like true.
So the Vedic culture is so Vedic teachings are so perfect. And it is brings ultimately whatever we want, that is, by simply following those things. You don't need any manipulation in that aspect. If simply follow it, that's what the conclusion in the Bhagavad Gita says, okay? You simply understand the Bhagavatam principles, you will be immensely satisfied. If no author of any modern history can claim like this, okay? I written a literature, you read this literature, you will be immensely satisfied. No literature can say. But our ancient Vedic literature very clearly says this, okay? You just understand this Vedic book, you will be immensely satisfied. That's what we want. That's what we are looking for.
Ji Prabhu. Like I have a same relatable question on that. Like we discussed, like we read also, like when Ramji bringing Sita Mata. So like they have a like air kind of like air drone kind of thing. That is kind of very advanced kind of thing, and many people reference that the arrow that they are using, it's kind of a rocket nowadays. Like they are so much like on that. Okay, so like what your thoughts are? What your thought on this? And last but not the least question in this involved, how you are taking that part into like a people like just bringing the Vedic culture or Vedic literature back to the India. Yeah, Prabhu.
Yeah. Now, so generally we thinking, okay, science is the new to the India. Actually, science is not the new to the India. Science was the Indian, every literature is full of science.
Yeah.
It's not science what we understood as today we call is a material science, whatever we understood by our whatever research work. It's nothing in front of what the advanced Vedic literature talks about. Today we are talking the science is about the material science. And material science is not only the science the Vedic literature talks, even the Vedic literature also talks about the material science. And Vedic literature also talks about the subtle science. Today, as you find out, okay, there is a kind of aeroplane, okay, the Ram has traveled, that aeroplane was traveling in the speed of light. So, Pushpaka Vimana. So we have the concept. It's not simply a concept. So there is a subtle science talks about subtle mean. The mind is as a subtle matter. Actually. There is a gross matter. So Vedic literature point. Okay, there is a shukshma vastu and sthula vastu. So there is a subtle matter. There is a the gross matter. The gross matter actually, what you call is a whatever a periodic table we'll study in our science. Okay, there is a 119, 118 or elements. So these all come to matter. We in Sanskrit we call it a panchabhut. And whatever material science is of the panchabhuts related. And material science is not what is the mind, what is the intelligent. So it talks about there is a word, okay, mind, intelligent. What is this mind? What is this intelligent? Science is not very clearly describe all these things. And it talks about, okay, mind is in subtle form, intelligent is in subtle form, and beyond this subtle, there is also called spirit, which is called life. Even the science till today, science not able to establish what is the living force in its body. No, science not able to say anything. Okay, maybe the medical science stay up to the point. Okay, there is some chemical reaction in the body. Because of the chemical reaction, there is a emotions feeling in his body, and it is a very logical theory actually. But the Vedic literature gives a more clarified answer to all these subject matter. So, so that what I'm trying to say, the Vedic literature has the higher science to understand. When we understand all the higher science, the life itself becomes more sober and very satisfied. Then whatever our advancement is required, we can do it. That's not the obstacle for your peace or prosperity. We can do it.
Okay, Prabhu. So thanks.
It is answers your this one or.
Ji Prabhu. So thanks for this is my first episode, but we are bringing more episode with Prabhu. And I didn't want that more diverse because you will confuse. I know, because many people didn't believe on spirituality, but we are go bit by bit. In each episode, we try to bring as much as out of it. And we talk about more on the yoga side and why this culture is bringing.
The few important topics was I suggest, Karthi. One of the concept is the very important to understand. This the question is is there in a life after the death? So the Vedic literature also gives a very logical answer to these things. So once you not understand this one concept, you're not able to understand spirituality also. Because spirituality is a subject of spirit. And what is the spirit also you should understand. So these are the subjects also you should take once, so that the people able to understand and believe.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. I can take a whole episode on that, and I will get more insights on that. I know my audience also get, but I also get more and more. So thanks folks for joining in and for watching this podcast. I will bring that podcast in more on Spotify also, so you can listen out if you are going out inside earphone and just close your eyes and just understand what we are talking about and what is totally about. So thank you, Prabhu, for this first episode on spirituality, and we will bring out more episode. Till then, bye bye.
And thank you again to you too, because you are given an opportunity to speak. Not many good people, because our Acharya Swami Prabhupada want this subject matter to be discussed in intellect class of people. So it is, I got a opportunity to speak.
It's my pleasure to talk with you and discuss this topic and share with among the students that those who want to know this stuff. That this is a very requirement for us to bring more and more culture, more diverse culture that we want in our country back. That from that past. But I just want to try just kind of a messenger who just following your path and Hare Krishna path to abolish that thing.
Yes. Every Indian should understand this. This is the wealth of India actually.
That's what the mentality.
India is rich for our spiritual culture.
Yeah.
We should be proud. Okay, we should not think that we are poor. Maybe economically maybe poor, but we are rich in our Vedic culture. We are the teachers of the world in this particular subject.
So till then, folks, see you.
Yes.
Bye bye, and hope you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.